Well, have you guys heard about the new special Don Lemon is doing on CNN? It's an N-word special. So Don has been talking about the uses of the word, and he has said that he thinks that the N-word should not just be abbreviated as the N-word, but when journalists actually report that they should use the word, the full word. I don't even like saying the word, so it's hard for me to say, but we all know what it is. So the special's coming on CNN on Monday night and is going to kind of give an overview of that. And what Don is saying is that he does not condone the word, he does not condone the usage of the word, but he feels that now with people being able to abbreviate it as N-word, that it sanitizes the word. It doesn't give the same effect. So he thinks that if people go in there and say the full word when they're reporting, that the world will see how hard this word is and how much force it has in the community. I get what Don is saying.
Absolutely.
My problem with it is that we already use the word in rap music, and I feel like if journalists start reporting the word, that they actually will make it, people will feel like it's okay for them to say all the time.
Please tell me, if Katie Couric comes out and uses the damn word, that won't be replayed to a music video on YouTube. It'll be like, hey y'all, like no, no. It'll be looked at as a joke, and it will bring the word out so much that it will be watered down. If everybody is using the word, it will be watered down, and then it will be in our vocabulary, period. And then it's done at that point. I just think that's ridiculous. No.
I mean, I agree. I mean, it's just, like I said, I get the effect of what he's trying to do, because it's something that when he was actually being he was on CNN and was being reported about the special that's coming on Monday, and he used the word during that report, and the effect of how it was used really, it was crazy. It really set the tone of the interview. And I get what he's doing. I just, like you said, I think that if it's utilized too much, that people will think that it's okay to use it, and it will show up in all these weird places,
riots, and I just think
But I'm interested to see the special, though. I want to see what he's going to refer to, and really how he explains why he's come to this decision.
How do you feel?
Well, I know he mentioned before, he was saying that the reason that we don't embrace the actual, like, I guess you call it pain of the word, is that we no longer link it to what it was linked to.
Right.
So he was talking about, like, during slavery and during the slave auctions, how they would, refer to this, not a person. They would use the N-word. And then when the gavel goes down, sold for 15 cents, this N-word, and the person goes off of the block and goes to their new owner. Like, we don't have that collective, because it's not our memory anymore, and it's so far removed from us culturally that we just don't sort of think about it that way. And he feels like if people have that in their heads, maybe it'll have a stronger effect, because with us just tossing it around and saying the N-word and pretending to be politically correct, and then having rappers changing it to an A on the end of it to make it hard and make it something powerful, like, we're not using what it was for, so that we have a connection to what it was actually used for, so we actually feel that pain and think about it more. So I don't know that I don't necessarily personally want to see reporters saying the word, but I think on some level maybe there is something to that, because this whole idea that we're pretending like it's not said and that it's not being used horribly in certain places, like the shock of Paula Deen and all of this stuff, like, we're not changing anything. Nothing's been fixed. Like, this word still has a major effect on our culture,
For sure,
and we're somehow, I don't know, so I don't know if to, like, put it in our faces like that is really going to do anything, but would it not? I mean, maybe it would do something interesting that we should see what happens and goes from there.
Well, my problem with it, though, is still is going to have a divide, because if reporters start using it, and then we have, like you said, Katie Couric, who starts using it, black people are going to be in an uproar about it, right? And not just black people, just people in general who don't want the word used. But then we're contradicting things, because then we still can use it in music, or people are using it in music. I think we just need to abolish the word, like we use in our buzzer meter question today.
Yeah.
We need to abolish the word completely, because it's it's not going to be, people are always going to have a reason on why they can justify using or not using the
Well,
word.
and the younger generation, I feel like, doesn't have that emotional tie to the word, or to even understand what happened with that word. So now they hear it. The first time they're hearing it is from someone like 50 Cent or their favorite artist, or watching their favorite movie. I mean, even still, I'm still shocked to this day. And I mean, I understand the shock factor, because even when I watch movies on BET and they don't bleep the word out, I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Y'all
Yeah,
done
it's
bleeped
uncomfortable.
I'll bleeped out shit, but y'all didn't bleep out that.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah.
But I guess it also goes to, if you're saying to abolish the word completely, I think the argument against that would be that whole idea that you can't know where you're going until you knew where you came from, and
history.
the idea that we already know the younger generations don't have that emotional attachment, and I think that's part of the problem.
Yep.
We don't pass, and not to say that you're supposed to pass pain along and constantly hoard on it.
No, but educate.
But it's an education situation, and it's not like, and I don't want to make this, because they're always arguing about the black folks, what they went through versus the
Exactly.
Holocaust and all of that. But that's a collective memory that for things like that to never happen again, we have to be aware and really know what that meant and really know how that affects and still affects us. And to take the word away is not necessarily us actually diving into what the freaking problem is and what the issues are that still surround black people in this country in general because of that word and all the things that went along with it.
Right.
You know what's so crazy is, it's funny because I use the same reason for that is with the word faggot. It's such a nasty word, and I don't know if it's just me, but I don't really take offense to it. If I hear it, I just kind of, oh God, whatever, let it kind of go over me. Now, if it's used in a derogatory way directed at me, that's totally different. As
Right.
far as using the word, it's just like ignorant, and it's just interesting with certain words, because I'm like, okay, well, so what are the news reporters going to be on there talking about he called her a faggot, he called her a wetback? It's just like,
Right.
now we're just going to be, they all have equal, I mean, to be honest, really one doesn't have a stronger hold over the other one. We're giving this word so much power.
I agree. Yes.
We don't sit around there talking about the F word,
Right.
the dub. You know what I mean? Like, I just think it's so much power. I don't think there's enough education, and I think that is something that the schools should be explaining.
Yeah.
And I go right back to growing up with Native Americans. Nobody knows about what they go through to this day, and that's just a whole nother topic. But it all starts with education. Yeah, we learn about slavery, we learn about this, but
We learn the watered down
Yes.
versions
The
of
watered down
everything.
version,
And
yeah.
at some point, if we're ever going to address all of this stuff, including what this country, the Native American experience and the black experience in this country, like none of that I think will ever get
No.
fully overcome in a way that we want to live in this colorblind, so to speak, society where we appreciate everybody for their differences, but we also can love past the differences.
Right.
It's never going to happen if we don't actually really know and understand what happened, why it happened, why certain things about what happened continue to happen, because we're still in denial. Like,
Yeah.
oh, we're all good. Like, I mean, we got a president.
Right.
Things are great.
Right.